Right, so for today's video, this was originally going to be just talking about a wild interaction that I saw on TikTok, a video that went viral. Turns out, after looking into it a bit more, it seems like there's a bit of a backstory here that kind of goes back years. But of course, let me add some context to this situation and show you the original video that I saw before I kind of went on this little, deep dive, I guess. And it was by this account right here called micheladababy, who posted this video that is currently on just over 9 million views. And the video is an interaction, an argument, I guess, whatever you want to call it, at this salon right here called Fringe in Baltimore. And in the video, she is specifically arguing with the owner, Laura, or as her website calls her, the sorceress. Hey, rockstars, I'm Laura Schneider, the mastermind, headbanger, and all-round hair sorceress behind Fringe Baltimore. You know what, I'll give a bit more context before we watch this video, because I was a bit confused when I first watched it without the added context, but Michaela, who's recording this video, her apartment is on top of this salon, right? So they technically have the same address. Obviously, Michaela's address is just the address plus the flat number. So when Michaela orders things online, sometimes it just goes to the salon because they kind of have the same address other than the apartment number. And what Michaela says is this salon keeps opening her parcels, and there was even a time where Laura opened one of the parcels, saw it was like a top, and kind of decided it was hers, and she kind of kept it, put it in a bag, took all the tags off. Then when Michaela came down to confront her, she gave her the top back. So that's a basic context out the way. That's what they're arguing about. So let's watch the video.
To hold yours.
I look crazy after y'all.
We have held your packages out of courtesy, and you're not going to do the
You
film.
don't need it. You can. She can film it.
I can film it.
Yeah, she can.
So,
she literally has permission.
This has been.
We hold your packages as a courtesy. They were.
I don't want you to
accidentally
hold my
opened,
package.
But they get delivered.
I've asked you several
want to
times.
hold them either. It's
We don't
actually
Yes, and I've asked you several times.
Okay, so a few things to say straight away. First of all, this is going to be a lot of shouting and talking over each other, so there's not going to be much of a productive conversation here. But as you can see, this is Laura, who seemingly is maybe, what's the word, notorious in Baltimore. Basically, there's been a lot of stories that have came out throughout the years that we'll speak about later. They're all allegations. I want to make that very clear. I don't know Laura personally or anything like that. I'm just seeing what's online, so it might not be true. Also, as you can see, she's got a white claw in her hand that she's drinking throughout, so she might be drunk in this video, so something to bear in mind. Although, drinking on the job, it seems a bit odd to me, like in a hair salon, just fucking necking seltzers. It does seem a bit odd, but there's some added context.
Not hold my package. I've asked you. I've told.
What are we supposed to do?
No.
Yeah, so straight away she was like, did you just call me a bitch? No, she didn't. This is what she said before that.
And I've asked you several times to not hold my package.
Okay, so that's when her face changes. So that's when she's thinking she heard something. But the only thing that was said was, I've asked you multiple times. So I don't know where she heard bitch. I'm assuming she just misheard, I guess.
I did not call you a bitch. That's wild.
What are we supposed to do about it if it's...
I want you to, whenever you receive a package and it has my name on it, don't keep it in here and don't open it.
What would you like
and so
us
I've
to
asked,
do?
hold
What
on,
would
and
you
I'm
like
talking.
Yeah, so this guy, I think his name's Aaron, he keeps saying throughout this, what do you want us to do? What do you want us to do? Where she clearly did say, what she wants them to do, but he carries on asking as if she hasn't said it yet.
Who are you?
I'm the
I
manager.
never
What would
came
you
to
like
talk
us
to you.
to
I came to
do?
talk to Laura.
What would you like us
Anyway.
to do with your packages?
Excuse me.
What
Were
would
we
you-
not talking?
You're going to speak with me now. What would
I'm
you
not
like
gonna-
us
who
to
are
do?
you?
I'm the manager here. What would
What's
you
your
like
name?
us, Aaron? What would you like us to do
Aaron,
with your packages?
Aaron, stop.
What
Aaron,
would you
stop
like us to
giving me an
do
attitude
with
right
your
now
packages?
because I came
Ma'am,
here so
you came in here with
respectfully.
an attitude.
No,
I
I
was sitting in the
didn't.
back and I heard it.
Go.
No.
Go. We're done here. We're gonna go, or we're gonna call the police.
This is you're gonna
not
call the police
welcome in the
on
building
for what?
anymore.
For what?
You've got to go.
Christy,
Dude,
out.
I've done
Out now.
Okay, so this video goes on for just under 7 minutes, and it's all very much the same. It's just a lot of arguing back and forth, just kind of talking over each other, and they definitely don't let Michaela kind of say what she wants to say. That's what it comes across like, to me at least, right? It's just a lot of shouting. They say they're gonna call the police, which they do. There's a little clip at the end where she's talking to the police, but you can't really tell what the conversation is.
Right. Having tension between neighbors is usually not fun.
Right.
So yeah, that's kind of the only clip we see with the police being there. There was also this part in the video where Laura mentions Reddit, which is what made me realize, clearly there has been some stuff said in the past that she's aware of.
No.
Get that
I'm
on
just-
film. Put it on Reddit.
What the?
Put it on Reddit, girl.
Oh my god, I just came down here.
No, I
because-
know, you're being really calm and nice now.
Dude,
You're just being super calm and accusing people of stealing your packages.
Yeah, so again, you can see kind of how the conversation went. Laura then goes on to mention the specific package that kind of started this discussion, I guess, which was a spacesuit, a Halloween costume. And she's saying like, oh, do you see me wearing the space costume? I didn't steal it.
I opened it because someone handed it to me. It came with a box full of our things.
I know that.
Someone handed it to me, and so I opened it. I realized it contained a adult male spacesuit.
Halloween costume.
I don't want that or
Yes.
need it, and I went, oh my god,
Right.
this is not mine.
How many times
And then
has that happened?
Yeah, so I think the wording she used there is something that people keep bringing up. The fact that she says, like, she opened a package and was like, I don't want that or need it. So people are saying, like, oh, so if you did want it or need it, you would have kept it. Maybe that's not what she meant, maybe it was a pure choice of words, but that is something that people are bringing up in the comments. Now, if you do want to see the full 7-minute video and see the whole argument play out, then I recommend going over to Michaela's page because you can see the full thing there. But like I said, you should get the gist from the clips I've shown. It is like just a bit of a back and forth. Now, Michaela's made a few videos since this, kind of explaining the situation. In this first one, she kind of says, like, they have security cameras everywhere, so if they want to prove her wrong and what her side of the story is, they can.
And I guess if anyone's really curious and if they wanted to like clear up what happened, they have a lot of cameras in their salon that I bet have great quality video and audio, and they can definitely post the moment that I walked in, and we can all see exactly how crazy I was acting.
Yeah, so this is obviously because Laura is saying that Michaela came in with an attitude straight away and was like arguing and being like aggressive straight away, whereas Michaela saying she went and like just asked her very calmly, and then it spiraled into this argument. So she's saying, if you've got the footage, you can show it and prove me wrong. Now in a longer video, Michaela goes into a lot more detail, and it kind of starts off saying the same stuff that I've kind of mentioned so far, you know, these parcels being going to the salon, and she would open a lot of them, and plenty of times she would come down and get her parcel, she would realize that the parcels are opened, and it just happened on so many occasions that she finally decided to say something. Or I should say, she states that she has told them multiple times to not open the parcels. They said that they wouldn't, but this time specifically, she wanted to be like more clear with it, and then that's kind of what started the argument. Now, I've noticed there is a bit of a divide in the comments based on the whole like parcel side of things. There is some people saying like, oh, do you expect them to read the names on every parcel that they receive before they open them? And then there's the people on the other side that said like, well, yes. I feel like if your business is constantly receiving parcels from the neighbours due to the address, you probably would get into a flow of making sure that you check the names before you open them if it happens so often. Like if it was just a one-off parcel and that's not the usual thing that happens and that you accidentally open it, then fair enough. But if this constantly happens and you're receiving neighbours' parcels all the time, then you probably would check the names on the parcel before you open them. I feel like that would be the respectful thing to do, but like I said, there is people on the other side saying like, why would they check all the names? I just personally disagree with that. Because at the end of the day, it probably would feel shitty that every time you go to get your parcels, they've been opened by someone else. What if you've ordered something that's private and then they've opened it? Like it's just anything that you don't want them to see. Or just in general, you know, like on a respect level, like you don't want people going through your private stuff that you've bought. Now later on in Michaela's video, she goes on to explain the specific situation where Laura had took out an item and took the tags off and put it in her bag.
But they do keep it and they do open it. And for me, I got officially fucking annoyed when something came in the mail. It was a like mesh sleeves, which is this. That came in the mail. Laura, the owner, takes it out, decides that it's hers. Mistakenly, you know, she's not trying to steal it, even though she's like, I stole, and it's like, okay, you didn't steal, but you almost stole. She takes the thing I ordered and like takes off the tags and decides it's hers. She puts it in a bag. I go down there and I'm like, hey, I'm missing this thing. I show her the receipt, and all of the staff looks at it, and then somebody goes, oh, you do have that. It's that thing that you thought was part of your outfit, the skirt. We all know. She's like, oh, I thought that was mine, and goes into her bag and she's like, this, and I'm like, yes, that's mine. Never apologizes. Simply gives it to me and goes, I thought it was mine. And I mean, that's when I was like, this is too much. And I decided that I need to really, next time it happens, tell them that it's not okay.
Yeah, so see, like a story like that, if it was just a one-off parcel that went to the wrong address, then you could almost understand it. Like she just opened it, she thought it was hers, maybe she ordered something very similar. You would understand it a lot more. But the fact that this clearly constantly happens where neighbours' parcels go to the business, which again is a problem on Amazon or wherever they're ordering stuff from, that they're being delivered to the wrong place. Michaela even shows that, like, do you know on Amazon when you order something, you give more details for the delivery. She's made it very clear, like, don't give it to the salon. Unfortunately, they still do. But again, like I was saying, if this is something that happens constantly, surely you would start checking the names on the parcels before you open them. Michaela then goes on to mention this parcel with the Halloween costume in it. Same thing kind of happens again. They open the parcel, and then this time it's where this video starts. She goes down to speak to them, and she says that they just got aggressive.
And then I go back down there and I go, hi, Sierra. And I go, I'm actually here to talk to Laura. I see Laura from across the room enjoying her beverage. I make eye contact with her. I wave. I go, Laura, hey, Laura. And she comes over. She's like, what's up? And I was like, I just want to talk to you about the mail, the packages. And she's like, what about it? And I go, it's been opened again. And she goes, Christy, do you think I want to open them? And fucking full spazzes. And it gets to the point where she keeps interrupting me, and I realize that the conversation's going nowhere. She starts getting aggressive, and so I take my phone out, at which point, Erin's in my face, tries to physically touch me multiple times, and it turned into that. And then all that crap happened. And you know what? It's totally a fair argument to say that I could have left, but they never gave me the opportunity to even say what I wanted to say. They turned it into holding packages, but in reality, it was about opening packages. Holding the packages was just like a secondary thing.
Yeah, so Michaela makes that clear, like, throughout the videos, that the thing she's annoyed about is the fact that the parcels were actually opened. Michaela then goes on to mention that after the situation we saw on video, she ends up going back downstairs, and Laura's, like, starts shouting at her, the cops come, and seemingly, from what we can tell from Michaela's story, it seems like they're more, like, on her side.
The cops never came to my door because, why the fuck would they do that? I went downstairs because I was being a chismosa, and I had to go get water out of my car, and I knew that the cops would be there, and I wanted to see it. And I come down my steps, and she immediately sees me, screams out, and just goes, there she is! And I have a video of all that. And I have a video of me speaking to the police officer, who, by the way, was, like, just so confused and apologized to me about the scene and asked if I needed anything. And I guess I should have asked, like, if I could press charges for what happened and, like, maybe showed him the video. But at that point, I was just like, what? Like, why? I don't give a shit. And I didn't at the time, you know what I mean? Until guess what happened later? Later, I'm leaving to go get a beer and a sandwich down at the tavern with my husband and my friends. So I'm on my way with my husband, and as I'm walking out, dude, Erin and Laura are leaving, and they're like not talking, they're just talking about me to each other as I'm leaving. And they go, oh my god, there she is, of course she would be there as soon as we're leaving. And it gets ugly, it gets incriminating, and I have a whole video of that crazy thing. What they said was so foul to me, and it was sick. And that's why I have a hard time feeling bad about what's happening to them right now.
Yeah, so as you just heard, Michaela says she has more videos of more stuff that kind of happened afterwards. We haven't seen any of that yet, so we can't really comment on it, but she explains what allegedly happens in them clips. And what she's saying at the end here, saying that she finds it hard to feel sorry for them about what's happening now, that's mainly because there's been, like, a lot of, like, bad reviews left on the company from this video, so that's what she's referring to there. But Michaela does also say she never mentioned the salon's name or anything like that in the video. She just wanted them to stop opening her parcels. But to be fair, if we're talking about bad reviews, there has been bad reviews for a long time with this business, not just after Michaela's video. Like, if you go over to Yelp, there's many one-star reviews, a lot of them kind of saying similar stuff. Like, there's this one, for example, that says, save your money, effort, time, and tears. When something goes wrong, they will blame you. There's a basic level of decency and respect that the manager, Laura, fails to understand. So this review goes on saying that this customer went to get her hair done. She wanted a specific thing, they did it wrong, she didn't like the way it looked. And then she goes on to say, here's where it goes wrong. Laura, the manager, is one of the rudest people I've ever interacted with. It was disgustingly clear and everything to her was about money. And though I had tears in my eyes from the mess that my hair was, it was essentially bright red instead of subtle blondish highlight. She said in the snarkiest tone, you can pay now. That's great, treat an already visibly upset customer with a cold, harsh tone. Then as the review carries on, they say that they end up going to a different salon to get their hair fixed after it was ruined, apparently, from Fringe Baltimore. And at this different salon, they told her that you should get a refund because the picture you shown is not what you got. It's nothing what you got. So you should be getting a refund. So this person goes back to Fringe Baltimore the next day and asks for a refund, to which Laura says it was actually the customer's fault and she should have asked for more time because the time frame wasn't long enough to get what she wanted. To which the person writing this review says, like, she's the customer, she's not a professional. If they needed more time to get this done, they should have told her. How was she supposed to know the time frame? And then his last paragraph says, Laura kept talking over me and didn't let me get a single word out. Every time I tried to speak, she made everything about the money. You paid for this, you wanted this, we are not refunding, in the rudest, disgusting, snarkiest tone I have ever read. It is hard to believe that someone who is supposed to be so mature is speaking to me, a 19-year-old, in such way. It was a horrible, horrible experience for me to get bullied into even suggesting the prospect of a refund because my hair was so terribly awful and not at all how I wanted it to be. I showed many friends and peers and everyone agreed it looked awful and not what I asked for. I posted the pictures on multiple websites and my social media in hopes of spreading to save your hair and not go to Fringe. Take my money, there is a basic human decency respect that I truly hope Laura learns. And this reviewer goes on to show some pictures. This is actually what she wanted, so this was the inspiration picture, if you will. And then here's what she got, and in the caption she says, like, the entire back of her head wasn't even highlighted. And yeah, I mean, looking at this picture, it does look like the back of her head isn't highlighted. But this is where we go over to Reddit, and again, I do just want to make it very clear that these all posts that I have absolutely no proof of which they're true. These are obviously just accusations that people have made. I do want to make that very clear. This is just stuff what people have posted. Obviously, Laura mentions Reddit in the video, so it made me want to obviously go and check. And I found a few things. There was this post right here saying, please be careful walking your dog around the corner of Huntington and 28th in Remington. And it says, the owner of Fringe sits outside her business with a large off-leash dog. I just saw it attack a leash dog. She proceeded to berate the owner, yelling about how the dog wasn't even bit and how they should get over it and keep moving. And as you can see by the top reply, it says, this woman is in the running to piss off the most people in half of Baltimore at this point. And then there's just a lot of people replying, talking about their experiences. Like there's this post right here that's saying years ago, they asked for suggestions of a new stylist. A few of her friends suggested her, but she didn't ultimately go and never made an appointment. But then Laura, apparently, obviously these are accusations again, but apparently she took their suggestions as a commitment and said that she didn't show up to the appointment and started blasting her on social media. I also saw this post where Laura and someone else is lying across like a bike lane, like protesting against a bike lane, but I don't know all the details of why this is, so I'm not going to make any judgment on it. This was just one of the big posts that I saw on Reddit. And there are so many other stories that people have mentioned. There's like this one right here that if you do want to read the full story, obviously it's very long, but if you want to pause it, you can read the full thing here. One part I did want to mention was this last paragraph here that says, but the best part was the caption. So it's just basically talking about a post that Laura made about her and about cancel culture and all this stuff. She captioned it with something to the effect of, as someone who has experienced cancel culture, I know that it can have a terrible impact on people, sometimes even making them suicidal. I'm stronger than that, but I don't know if this person, the person who's making this post, is. So I'm going to be the bigger person and block out her name so she doesn't kill herself, which is a mental thing to write. There was also posts like this, like from former employees, or apparently, allegedly former employees, talking about how like Laura was screaming at them and stuff, and it was just a horrible workplace to work at. There was also this reply to that post saying, the craziest part is I know exactly who you are, because she would not shut up about having been cancelled. She also told me, a non-binary person, to be a man, so much for inclusivity. Yeah, so I think a big part of like their branding for this salon is like inclusivity, and there's been a lot of people saying that that's just not true with their actions. I also found this TikTok video from Cameron. It's 9.5 minutes long, so obviously I'm not going to cover every single point right now, but if you do want to see this is their username on screen right now, so you can see the full video there. But a few of the main points they mentioned is that they said that they worked there for a few months at the salon, and Laura would kind of voice her very controversial opinions, and if people didn't agree with them controversial opinions, you would almost be like excluded from the group.
And Laura used to come in the back and she would ambush you and she would talk about her controversial opinions, which was just yikes. She was a big fan of Casey Anthony. She thought that she was just a wronged woman and that, you know, she dealt with her problems the best way that she could. It was wild.
Cameron then says like multiple times throughout this that Laura would like shit on employees a lot. One example is when they actually went on this trip away. I think it was like a 4-hour journey away, and they went on this trip with like a bunch of employees, and on the car journey she was shitting on employees.
As you're talking, she just constantly was shitting on our employees, everything. And it was just really weird. You know, it was really uncomfortable. I'd only been there for a month.
And apparently when they arrived at like their destination on this trip away, Laura just kind of started like screaming at everyone.
And so when we get there, Laura had, also, this is the other thing, Laura was a passenger in the car at the time, and she was smoking and she was drinking. And we pull in, and there's a couple of the employees already, actually no, everyone, I think we're the last people to get there. And she starts screaming. She screams for hours. She pulls us, like, she literally, like, when I tell you screaming, I mean, like, I was terrified.
Now, like I mentioned before, this is quite a long video, so Cameron obviously does go into a lot more detail, so again, I would highly recommend go and check out their video if you do want to see the full story. But ultimately, the next day, Laura apparently sends out, like, a group text message saying that we need to have, like, a meeting. She then has, like, individual meetings with people, and when she had the meeting with Cameron, she kind of just, like, insulted them, and I believe also said, like, if people don't apologize, they would get fired.
And the next day, she sent out a group text and was like, everyone needs to get on Zoom, we need to talk about this. And in that group text, she threatened us all with firing if we did not apologize to her. For what? Who knows? She was, so for hours, she just beat down each of us. We had each individual meetings. In mine, she basically called me an idiot, said that I was just the worst, and that my identity as a non-binary person was fake, and that I was a perpetual victim. And I was like, girl.
And then Cameron actually ends the video by saying that Laura lied about healthcare and the paychecks didn't add up.
Throughout this entire time, I never once got healthcare. It was constantly lied to me about. I never, none of my paychecks were ever calculated correctly. It was a hot mess. Let's just be real.
And that is basically a summary of the situation. Like I said, there's a lot more stuff that this video will just go on forever, basically. So hopefully you kind of get the gist of the situation at the minute. It's a massive situation with the original video being nearly on 10 million views. So maybe there'll be a response from Fringe Baltimore in the future. Who knows what's going to happen? It's all kind of very new. But I would love to know your opinions in the comment section down below either way. And yeah, if you did enjoy, leave a like, subscribe, all that stuff. And until the next one, I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, goodbye.